that are here, as a matter of fact, just a few minutes ago even. So I am here. I'm going to lead the presentation, and I brought along some of my friends that volunteer for us at JA and go into the classrooms, and I'll let them introduce themselves. Start with Amanda. Do you want to start?
On our cue to introduce.
Yeah.
My name is Amanda Brandstrader. I am the Senior Human Resource Manager here at Hagerman. I have been volunteering with Junior Achievement, oh my goodness, many years. It's fun. I have a lot of fun doing it. And the one thing that I have to know how to do my job as a volunteer is to read.
Antoinette, do you want to go next?
My name is Antoinette Francher-Donald. I'm director of a program called Children's Health Collaborative, and I work for the Community Foundation of Greater Fort Wayne. Love what I do. My job focuses on youth, like you guys. And for my job, I really have to know how to read because I have to write reports and articles. And also I have to help write sections to get grants. So it's very important that I know how to write and read well. And I don't know how long I've been volunteering for JA. It's been several years, but I was also a Fort Wayne Community School Study Connection tutor for about 11 years.
George.
Okay, my name is George Hicks, and I work for Lincoln Financial Group. I'm an audit management consultant. I've been very fortunate to be at Lincoln, be 33 years in June, so pretty excited. And over that time, I've had to continue my reading, be able to communicate well with my management as well as senior leaders. So I'm excited. I'm also a volunteer for Junior Achievement. Really excited about that. And Janet, she gave me a call and I couldn't say no. So thank you for the opportunity to be here with you tonight.
Well, we're glad you're here. And our last guest from JA is Heather.
Hello, I'm Heather Bontempo. I work for the University of St. Francis. I'm the community specialist, so I actually spend a lot of my time with businesses out in the community, but I have been volunteering with Junior Achievement for, I think, at least 10 years or so now, but I do most of my volunteering doing JA in a day or the individual programs like that. So I enjoy getting to see students like yourself, and I was lucky enough to just do my first JA via Zoom the other day. So it went well, it was exciting. So hopefully you guys are getting to do some fun things there too.
Excellent. Janet, do you want me to put the PowerPoint on, or would you like me to give you permission to share it on your end?
I'm gonna let you go ahead and do it.
Okay,
You're probably better at this than I am.
All right, so hopefully I will not let everyone down. Let's see if something explodes. We're gonna blame it on Mrs. Smith. I don't know why, but no, just kidding. Okay, let's see. I don't know who that scary person is, but you know. Okay. Okay, can everyone see that? Wave your hand. Okay, George, you can see it. Excellent. All right, Janet.
Well, good evening, everybody. Like I said, welcome to our third grade family night. Dr. H was asked us at JA to come help participate, and we're really happy we can be here. And so tonight we're going to talk about why reading is important. And so let's get started. So the most successful people make reading a priority. And they actually make a schedule about reading and then they stick to it. So your schedule could be you want to read 20 minutes a day, or maybe you want to read a book or a chapter of a book before you go to bed. Or maybe you decide your reading schedule is going to be when you're on the bus or in the car, not parents, but kids. And when you read, you actually become a better and more knowledgeable person. And our most influential readers take time to read a good book. So we're going to look at a few of them. Does anybody know who this is?
You can unmute yourself, and if you wanted to guess who that is, or you can put it in the chat room. and I can monitor the chat room and we can recognize you. Anyone? All right. Admin was the first one in. It is President Obama. That is correct. Olivia, correct as well. All right.
Nice job. I'm glad you know who he is. Okay. Do you want to hit a click for me?
It's $5? No, just
You're right. It is Barack Obama. And Barack Obama is the 44th president of the United States, and he's also known as a voracious reader of books. And voracious means you're just very eager to do the activity. So this would mean that he loves to read, and he finds books a rich source of ideas and inspiration. And even during the 8 years he was at the White House, he always found time to read. So here are some of the things that he says about reading. He says, reading is the gateway skill that makes all other learning possible. And that reading is important because if you know how to read, the whole world opens up to you. So you guys can go anywhere in the world just by reading a book, which is amazing. Okay, so he loves to read. He loves to read to his kids. And these are some of the books that he liked to read as a child or as a young person, then also read with his children. So do you guys, I'm sure you all know about The Cat in the Hat, right? Yeah, does everybody love cat? I love Cat in the Hat. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, green eggs and ham. We got to love those books. And then Treasure Island. And has anybody ever read Treasure Island before? I can see you all, so I'm just looking. No? Okay, well, you guys need to read that book. And then we have the Hardy Boys. The Hardy Boys, I have one picture there, but there's a big series of books, and they're all mystery books about two boys that solve mysteries. Then we have The Great Gatsby. All right, and let's look at our next leader.
Mama, what should I type?
Okay, can anybody guess who this is?
So type it in the chat. That would be a lot easier if you type it in the chat, and then we want to see which student goes in first. And then they will be, oh, admin thinks it's Elon Musk. Ashlyn is correct. It's Bill Gates, actually. Yes.
That is Bill Gates. All right, Bill Gates. And do you know what Bill Gates company Bill Gates runs? It's Microsoft. And in Microsoft, Microsoft's a computer company, and they sell software and computers and electronics. And if you've ever used the Microsoft Word or an Excel program, then you've used products that Bill Gates his company helped develop. Have any of you ever used an Xbox? Or do you know what an Xbox is? If so, that's a Microsoft product. Now, here's an interesting thing about Mr. Gates. He loves to read, and he makes it a point to read 50 books a year. And that's almost a book a week. And he's not reading 50 Dr. Seuss books. He's reading 50 large books a year. And he also has made a point never to start a book that he does not plan on finishing. Even if the book turns out to be dull or hard to read, he thinks it's very important to finish what you start. And here's some things he says about reading. He says, I really had a lot of dreams when I was a kid. And I think a great deal of that grew out of the fact that I had a chance to read a lot. He also says, whether I'm at the office, at home, or on the road, I always have a stack of books, and I'm always looking forward to reading. And Bill would love to read to his kids when they were young too. And these are some of the books he likes to read with his children. Rosie Revere Engineer, Guess How Much I Love You, Love You Forever. I'm sure those are parent favorites too. I know they are at my house. And the book of, let's see, my chat box is in front of it, is the book of Elsewhere, is another one that he likes to read with his kids. Have any of you read these books before? Mrs. Smith shaking her head, yes. Mrs. Guloff is shaking her head, raising her hand too. All right, let's see who our next person, our famous person is. Okay, can anybody take a guess on who this is?
So type it in your chat, and students, the person with most names, we're going to have prizes. So Olivia right now is winning. She thinks that's Don Filcha, and then Ashlyn thinks it's Zuckerberg. I think we have and let's see if we get any more. Do you want me to relieve it, Janet, who it is?
Oh, absolutely. It is Mark
Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg. And Mark Zuckerberg, he is famous because and influential because he started some companies that we all know. Facebook, Instagram, also Messenger.
Janet, I have a question for you.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you know who has the best Facebook page on the entire planet?
I would think you do.
It is Frankie Park. That is right. It is the best. I agree. It is.
I am so gonna go friend your page.
It is the best. It's like candy. It's the best.
So yeah, we use his products every day. And when he was young, he didn't read a lot when he was young, but he was very smart. And he got started writing computer software in middle school, and he would create video games with his friends. And then when he was in college, so he was probably about 20 years old, that's when he started Facebook. And his company has grown and grown and grown. However, he has realized how important reading is. So when he found out that Bill Gates read 50 books a year, he decided he was going to start reading more too. And he made a promise to himself that he would read read a book every 2 weeks. So he's not quite up to how many Mr. Gates reads, but he says, if you allow books allow you to fully explore a topic and immerse yourself in a deeper way than most media today. I'm looking forward to shifting more of my media diet towards reading books. Because he developed Facebook and because he was a software developer, most of his time was spent on the computer. So he decided he really wanted to start actually reading books that he could hold in his hand and turn those pages. And so he has made a commitment to do that. He and his wife recently had a baby, and they have made a commitment to do that with their daughter, and as well as to read to her daily. Okay, let's look at another friend, our influential person. Okay, who do we think this is?
Ashlyn has Mark Cuban.
Ashlyn has Mark Cuban. So guess who it is?
Who else? I think Ashlyn right now is in the winning for most answers. Let's see. Jonathan also says Mark Cuban. All right.
That's all right. It is Mark Cuban. And Mark Cuban is an entrepreneur, and he actually owns the Dallas Mavericks basketball team. Ooh. And he's also on Shark Tank. So some of you may have seen that show before. Mark has always been an entrepreneur, and he started his first business when he was 12 years old. So all of you actually are getting kind of close to that age, and you could start your own businesses now too. But he sold garbage bags that his father had given him because he went to his dad and said he wanted a job. Mark was also part of JA growing up, and he said that JA was the reason he wanted to own his own business. Now, he makes a point to read at least 3 hours a day. 3 hours a day. So that's amazing. And he has actually written a book, How Any Kid Can Start a Business. So if you are interested in reading a book about starting a business, this may be a good one to look at. Okay, our next leader is, who do you think this is?
Anybody type in your answers, because we are going to be, this chat is going to be, let's see, Elon Musk, Ashlyn again. My goodness, Ashlyn should go on Jeopardy. Okay, come on, foxes.
All right.
Let's see, drum roll, and it is Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. So Elon Musk started SpaceX because of his love of space and his love of reading. And when he was young, he read a lot of science fiction books as a kid, which helped develop his love of space. And did you guys see that SpaceX rocket took astronauts to the International Space Station this week, which is amazing. And he also owns a car company called Tesla, and they make electronic cars. So when he was growing up, he's from South Africa, and he grew up, and he decided he just wanted to read as much as he could. And here's a quote from him. It says, when people ask him how he learned to build rockets, he said, I read books. So he wanted to find out about rockets. So that's what he did. So the books that most inspired him were the Isaac Asimov Foundation series. There's 7 books, I believe, in this series. And another thing he also really liked to read was comic books. So comic books are just as much fun to read as a regular book. All right, we have another influential person. Anybody tell me who this is?
I think we should know this. Parents, you're allowed to help your fox. Okay, Ashlyn again, Oprah.
Oh.
Admin, Oprah. Jonathan, Oprah. Elijah, Oprah, very good. Oh, I think I'm dying with anticipation. It is Oprah.
It is Oprah. And so anybody want to guess what she does? She does a lot of stuff. So not only did Oprah have her own television show, but she also started her own magazine, and she has her own television network. But most of all, she is a strong advocate of reading. So one of the things Oprah says, nothing, not one thing or activity can replace the experience of a good read, being transported to a different land or a different realm through words and language. So she loves to get into a book and let it take her to someplace else. And she also says, reading is a way for me to expand my mind, open my eyes, and fill my heart. So reading really makes us a better person. Oprah even started a book club for adults. And one of her all-time favorite books when she was a kid, and to this day, is The Wizard of Oz. Because when she read it, she realized that everything that you need to achieve your purpose, your desires, whatever, is already inside of you. Okay, I have another person we're going to look at. Maybe you can tell me who she is. Anybody want to take a guess?
Ashlyn has J.K. Rowling's.
It's good.
Okay. Well, let's take a look. It is J.K. Rowling. That's correct. And J.K. Rowling is famous for, do y'all know? Harry Potter. She's written other books too, but I think most everybody's going to know Harry Potter. And we loved reading Harry Potter to our kids. We would read a chapter every night before they went to bed when they were young, before they could really read it all on their own. And these are some things that J.K. Rowling says about books. If you don't like to read, you haven't found the right book. And whenever or wherever I am, if I've got a book with me, I have a place I can go and be happy. And she also says, I think it's the books that you read when you're young that live with you forever. And some of her favorite books are these here. We've got Black Beauty, The Little White Horse, The Story of the Treasure Seekers, Emma, Maximouse, and Ballet Shoes. And she said she loved to read anything that had a horse in the story because she loved horses. Okay, I have one more special leader that we're going to look at. Can
Okay,
anybody?
So this next one, they have to. If I'm gonna cry, if people can't get this.
All right, well, let's take a look. Who do you think is in that picture?
Okay, I know
That
this was Janet's idea. This was not my idea. All right,
Ah,
let's see. Edmund
well-
got it. Very good. Olivia got it. There we go. Ashlyn got it. All right, excellent. Yes, that is me.
That is Dr. H. So, Dr. H, would you share some of your favorite books?
Yeah, so my all-time favorite book when I was growing up was Robinson Crusoe. That was really popular, and I read it in my native tongue in Bosnian, and I loved it and still treasure that book to this day. But then when I became older, my favorite book to this day is A Prayer for Owen Meany. I think everyone should read their book once in a lifetime. It's a powerful story.
I'm looking forward to reading that. So, thank you for sharing that list,
Yeah.
sharing your book choices with us. And so, what do all of our influential people have in common? Barack Obama, J.K. Rowling, Bill Gates, Oprah, Elon Musk. The main thing they have in common is they love to read and they read a lot. So, why do they read? They read because reading helps you develop into a better thinker and makes you more creative. Reading builds your people skills and you become a better leader. When you read, it helps you understand and appreciate others. And reading makes you smarter and your vocabulary richer. Your brain is like a muscle and you need to exercise it to keep it healthy. So we do exercises to keep our bodies strong, and we need to do the same thing for our brains. Reading also helps improve your decision-making skills. And when you read, you have more knowledge and it helps you make better choices. Reading is an escape. It can take you to another time and place. It's also fun to find a favorite place to read, a special place where you can relax without distractions. Maybe it's a corner of your room, or maybe there's a favorite cozy chair in your house. It also helps you sleep because reading relaxes you. Just raise your hands. How many of you read stories before bedtime? Yeah, I do. All right. And the more you read, the better your writing skills will be. You will notice how others form sentences and tell stories. And by reading, you are always learning new things about people and places. And you'll talk to many different people. And you'll be able to talk with many different people about many different things. Now, by being a good reader, you develop skills that our employers are looking for in an employee. The best employees can think on their own, make good decisions, communicate well, and have good people skills. So now we're going to hear from our guests and our JA volunteers, and they're going to tell you a little about their jobs and why reading is important and writing is important, where they work, and they may even share some of the types of books they like to read when they were a kid. So,
Janet, are you okay if I stop sharing their screen so we can see their beautiful faces?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have a couple slides for Amanda that she wants to show.
I was difficult, sorry.
No, you're absolutely fine. So Amanda, I'm going to let you take it from here.
Okay. So,
Janet, did you want me to put the back on for you?
yeah, you're gonna drive, right?
Or you can drive, whatever you would like to do.
I don't have it pulled up to drive, so you'll have to drive.
I will drive it for you. Not a problem.
So as Janet said, my name is Amanda. I work downtown Fort Wayne here at Hagerman. And I am in human resources, and a lot of people mostly think that human resources means hiring and firing people. Is that what you guys think? That's what we do? Yeah, that's the perception. But what I really do is I help people. And to help people, I have to know how to read. So on this slide that Dr. H has pulled up, you never want to have a presentation look like this. This is a bad example. But my point to this is that there are many things on here that what? Yes, go ahead and tell me. I see you're raising your hand.
I need to use the bathroom really badly.
Oh, go, please go.
That was polite.
Yes, that was very polite. So you have a Coney Island menu up in the upper left-hand corner. You have a zoo, something from the zoo on there. You also have a skating schedule for Headwaters Park in Fort Wayne. There are highway construction signs. There's an orientation checklist in the upper right corner. And kind of towards the middle on the right, there's an OSHA poster. So what do all of those things have in common? They have words on them, right? And in order to have words, we make sentences with words, right? And what do we do with sentences? Can somebody tell me what we do with sentences? What do we do with them?
You're welcome to unmute yourself if you would like, so we can hear your voice as well.
Yes, you read them. That's exactly right. Right, exactly. So if you guys couldn't read what's up on the screen, how fun would that be? That would be kind of boring, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be fun. So, yeah, as we move on to the next slide, does anybody know what this is? It's a drawing. It's an architectural drawing. So my company helps build buildings. And this is from Promenade Park, which is downtown. Does everybody know where that's at? Down by the river? So do you know what happens when somebody is, yeah, a blueprint? Yeah, that's another word for this type of drawing. So somebody has to read this in order to know how to build something. Do you know what happens when they're done reading? Dr. H, can you move to the next slide? It's done. The building's complete. This is what happens when people get together and they're able to read something. They put their skills to use. They put their hands to use. They put their brains to use because they've been practicing those muscles that Janet talked about just a little bit ago, those reading muscles, and they build something and they create something. Isn't that crazy? And isn't that awesome? Dr. H, next slide. So here are my favorite books. Stuart Little. Has anybody read that book? Yes, some?
Yeah.
Stuart Little was a mouse to a human family. And can you imagine being a mouse and trying to communicate and speak to humans? But he did it, right? And then Charlotte's Web, kind of the same thing. A little pig as a runt. Fern kind of took Wilbur under her wing and grew him up a little bit. And then Wilbur met Charlotte. And what did Charlotte do in the barn? Does anybody remember? She built webs in the barn with words.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So she was writing words too. And that made Wilbur famous. And then nobody, yeah, exactly. Spins webs with words. And that made Wilbur famous. And that kept him from going to the market. So those are two of my favorite books. And I hope that you continue to learn to read. It warms my heart to see you guys all here, and hopefully you guys continue those reading skills, because that will actually be your number one skill that you have when you get older and you are actually in the workforce. Thank you, Dr. H.
You're welcome. All right. I'm going to stop sharing unless our presenters want us to share. I appreciate all of the ones who have been writing in the chat room as well. So next presenter.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. Again, my name is Antoinette Francher Donald. And again, I work for, I run a program called Children's Health Collaborative. So my program is designed to help kids live healthily through eating and exercising and making sure that they get their annual wellness exams each year. So working on projects like that and some other programs as well. I love to read. As a kid, I loved Curious George books, love them. I love Dr. Seuss books as well. And I used to read this book, The Mouse and the Motorcycle by Beverly Cleary all the time, which was a really, really fun book. And the reason that it's important to read, when I read, it helps me with my spoken language. So I learn words by when I read them, and then I can use them when I speak. When I speak, I'm expressing myself, and when the more words I know, I can express myself better. So I can express myself more clearly, and people will understand me. And so I need to do that for my job, because my job is about a word's called collaboration. That means working in groups and having groups work together to make something happen. So it's very, very important. Another reason I read is because when I read, I can learn a lot about other people that I've never met. And some of those people that we saw earlier on the screen, I like to read. They're called biographies or autobiography would be something I, wrote. But I like to read about people and how they got to where they are. And so that's super. So it can take you around the world. I've traveled a few times to other countries, and I was able to read about it before I went. So it's really important to read for my job, because I have to write documents and give them to my manager. And so it's just important, and I appreciate you guys having me. And does anybody have any questions?
You can
All
put them
right.
in the chat room, or any questions. We will wait.
Okay.
So I'm going to encourage, before we go to our next friend, or as the questions are coming in, typed in, I would encourage you, Foxes, and those who will be watching this recording, to maybe find some of these books that our presenters talked about, because maybe someday you'll be doing a presentation as well, and maybe you'll be on that PowerPoint as well. So remember, all of you are destined to be great. It's just a matter of seizing that moment. So, all right. Who's our next friend? Is it George, I think?
It's Heather.
It is
No, it's
me.
Heather. All right.
So, well, I will start with the books that I liked when I was your age. I liked reading The Boxcar Children. I really liked the mystery of it, and each story was different. And like Janet said, really takes you to a different place. Also, The Babysitter's Club. Naturally, I was one that liked to babysit and do all of that. So I just really liked both of those. But I also wanted to talk about, so as I continued to get older, I did read, and then I found a time where I just didn't spend the time to maybe find the right book for me. So I got kind of maybe caught up in sports, and I just want to say, when they talk about really finding the best fit, like, so when J.K. Rowling says, if you aren't reading, it's just because you haven't found the right book. I would just say, ask a friend, ask somebody you know, try different books so you can find what you like. And now as I'm older, I do read a lot, and I read books that, and has helped me, obviously working for a university, when it comes to school, it involves reading. So I didn't want to talk as much about that as just that reading books have really helped with being a good leader. So being a good neighbor. I know in JA, we talk about being a neighbor, being a good family member, and reading has helped to do that, helps with the skills, whether it's communicating with people, and just being the best person that I can be, being the best mom that I can be. So that has been helpful. There's books that I have read to help me in my job. So there are books out there for really everything that you're doing. And I have kids that are involved in sports, and I found books for my daughter that does softball. There's books that help to know what, how to handle situations, or depending on where you're at. I mean, so there's just so many books out there, and I enjoy a lot of it too is just I enjoy looking at all of the books. What is there out there? And then really trying to decide, okay, what do I want to really focus on right now? What skill or what do I want to focus on? Or what book can I find that I want to read that's just for fun? So I still like the mystery of it. I feel like I go to those type of books where there's something happening and they're trying to solve it. That's kind of what I like to do for now, as far as when I'm not looking at those other books. But definitely, I would say find different books, find something new, because I bet you're going to find something else. And then also, I would just say when you find those, share it, talk to your friends, tell them what you like about it. Don't share any of the surprises. Don't tell them what happens because they want to know, they want to read it, but share those with them. So that way you can teach them and they can teach you what other books are out there. So you can expand and find new things that you like.
Excellent. Any
Now-
questions? Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's it.
Any
No, go.
any questions? I'm hiding my face so nobody gets scared to sleep tonight. So too much of Dr. H on the screen can be too much. Yes, Janet.
Dr. H, I have a question.
Yes.
I was muted earlier, but let me go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Constance Cobb. I'm a school improvement liaison at Frankie Park. Woo, 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 Frankie Park. I also like one of my favorite books authors is Dr. Seuss. It amazes me how he twists and turns his words and just what he comes up with. So I love Dr. Seuss books. And my question to you all is, have you ever thought about writing a book? Have any of you thought about writing a book?
I've had some friends tell me that I should write a book, but I haven't done it yet. But I do like to write a lot.
And since Constance, I was planning to do that at the end, but since Ms. Cobb went, I'm going to have our teachers, because to me, they're superheroes. I want our guests to meet our teachers. And we'll start with Mrs. Smith, introduce themselves, and also maybe what books they enjoyed when they were reading. Mrs. Smith?
Hi, yes, Mrs. Smith. I teach third grade and I've been at Frankie Park for about 12 years. I know I really related to Heather because I read the Babysitters Club too as growing up. And I'm reading them to my daughters now before bedtime.
Very nice. Mrs. Gula?
Okay, I work at Frankie Park as a third grade teacher. I'm in my 7th year of teaching. When I was younger, I loved the series Anne of Green Gables. It's by Lucy Maud Montgomery. I like the main character. I could identify with her. I had red hair and freckles when I was a kid and I was a tomboy. And that is what that character was like. She didn't like rules. She liked to get dirty. She was stubborn and active. And I didn't get to read about a lot of girls that were like me when I was that age. So.
Thank you for sharing. Next, we're going to have Mrs. Palmer.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Palmer, third grade teacher at Frankie Park. I growing up in the third grade, I was obsessed with Ramona Quimby, and that's Beverly Cleary had a whole series about Ramona Quimby, and in fact, I wrote a letter to Beverly Cleary, and she wrote back, and that was like the best thing ever. So I thought I wanted to be Ramona Quimby. That was my thing growing up. So that was really gave me the love of reading. And I love trying to help kids find that favorite book or favorite author. Because once you find someone that you love, it's amazing.
And we have one of our foxes wrote that Jonathan's mom likes the Judy Blume. So Thank you for sharing, Jonathan. Thank you, Mrs. Palmer. And I think what I would like to say, to all the students is separate the reading from just making it a school thing, because reading is as important as breathing air. Reading is as important as getting that necessary nutrients like food and water. I mean, reading is really a necessary part. And what I'm hoping from tonight is going to happen, that we can start a movement here where we read not because we're told, but because reading is cool. We want to make reading cool. And I'll pass for that to Janet. Janet?
And we have one more of our guests to hear from, and that's George Hicks.
Hello, everyone. I have just been so excited about hearing everyone's stories. And like many of you, I just agree with all what you said so far. I will share that as a kid, ironically, one of my stories I like to read is Curious George. I think it was mainly because it had my name in it. And so that was just one as a kid. But just to let you know, I do, as I mentioned earlier, I work for Lincoln Financial Group. And in my day job, I have the opportunity of working with audits but what has given me the opportunity to be a part of JA is that, just my love for learning and being able to share with others. And so I've had an opportunity to work with JA as, first of all, as a volunteer, but then we were able to coordinate, and just the opportunity just to reach over 13,000 students in a school year was just awesome, because we had over 300 volunteers at our workplace, and I had the opportunity to coordinate that, and it was just great, just getting to meet the JA staff as well as the students. And so again, when Janet said, George, I need you, and I'm saying, I'm here. And but I want to say that I mentioned Curious George, but Bob the Builder, there's the little engine that could. I don't know if some of these stories kind of are the Three Little Pigs. These are stories that I read and was able to read to my kids. And you probably can't see this, but Snow White. You get a chance to read these stories to your kids, and there's times where I have grandkids now, and as I'm reading to my grandkids, sometimes I'll make up a story, and you just have to be very imaginative in your thought process. And so when you're able to read, one thing I will say that it's an investment in your now and your future. And so I just want to encourage you all. And then also, as young people, I'd like for you to all get bookshelves, right? Get a bookshelf and just begin. As you read a book, you can see how your accumulation of books, you can begin to add to that bookshelf. And you'll see, especially if you're an attorney, or you may see tons of books behind, professors, they have a lot of books in their office. And I can imagine that a lot of our guests that we had earlier, you can see they have their own library of books. And so as you begin to read different types of books, and I have just a few here, and I can't bring them all up, but I mean, good to great, that's an opportunity just to work on a few things. So I have books that I read for professional, First Things First, a lot of Stephen Covey books that I read, Highly Effective People. These are all opportunities for professional growth, and there's personal growth as well. One book I've read and been able to look at is Tony Dungy, just the quiet strength, And so there's so many other things, and I'll share this and I'll be done. Is for the parents out there, as you're working with your young people, this is one that my wife and I have been able to read through. It's for moms. It says, she's gonna blow. It says, help mom deal with her anger. So sometimes, especially, you've been kind of cooped up in your house, but then this is a great one too. It's by John Crowell. It says, bringing out the winner in your child. We need to be able to encourage our kids, because they're not just our now, but they're our future as well. So just encourage you to read and find different opportunities to read, even if it's just 10 pages a day, but find every day to read. It takes a discipline. Believe me, it takes a discipline. It's really easy to sit back and watch television for an hour, and sometimes it takes discipline to sit down and read. But I think if you begin to read books, it begins to you see your stress level decrease just as much as sitting in front of a television. So I just want to encourage you all, read, 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 read. And as a young person, the bus used to come by in front of my house, and I was so excited. I would go out and I'd sit in this bus. We'd read books all day. And but there was a period in my life where I kind of stepped away from reading. And so now I'm getting back into my love for reading, because not only does it impact me personally, but it impacts me professionally. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, George.
Well, I'm so glad that everybody could share. And Dr. H, I'll let you pull the PowerPoint back up. And while you're doing that, I just want to share one of my favorite all-time books. And I read this probably when I was in, I can't remember, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, was a book called From the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler. And it's about 2 children that run away and they go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City, and they live there. And it's about their adventure in the museum. So it is really it was one of my favorite books. So now you know why reading is important. So, and it's not just in school, but in work as well. So what can you do to improve your reading? Read anything that you would like. Read a book, read a magazine, read newspapers, read instructions on how to play a game or how to make a meal. So read comic books. You can even read stories online. Read instructions on how to build something. These are all great ways to read. And now what? Well, you can start your reading habits now. So you are going to want to read 20 minutes a day, and you can read with family. You can read with friends. You can read by yourself, and you can read with pets.
And Janet, just to let you know, we are going to start, and we're going to have these with our sale with Ms. Cobb, who you introduced herself. We're going to have tomorrow, we're going to be passing out. Last year, remember, let's see who remember what happened last year when we were able to reach 300 minutes of reading during month of December. We had a very special visitor. Anybody remember who came to visit us? Maybe the teachers remember, Miss Gula, for somebody.
Is that when we had Moana?
Elsa and Moana.
Elsa?
Yes, exactly. Elsa and Moana. We won't say who Moana and Elsa were, but so this year what we're going to do is encourage everyone is going to get a reading log. And parents, I'm going to ask you to share this information online with everyone, with the rest of the parents, because we will be passing this out tomorrow. There will be a reading log, and we're going to try to read 20 minutes a night. And we're that until we go get ready for Christmas break. And then what we're going to do is a special surprise. The student with the most minutes read is going to be throwing a pie at Dr. H's face. So, and it's going to be a reader for every grade level. So that means if you do the math, it's going to be, we're going to have 7 different pies that are going to be coming my way, and I'm looking forward to this. So this is going to be lots of fun. Yes. So, an admin for my virtual foxes, you will also be invited if you're the top reader. We'll have reading logs for you as well. So I can see admin wanting to throw a pie at my face.
Do we get to participate, Dr. H? Can we read and throw them at you too?
Oh, absolutely. You know, let's start a movement. Let's start everybody reading. Absolutely. This could be a good thing. So maybe we can get our assistant principal, Mr. Geis, to join in. So
What if I got to pie you in the face and I put a remote control snake in it, and then I pranked you thinking there was a snake on your face?
that's very creative. That could be a good story, a book that you could write. A pie and a snake.
Yeah.
That could be the next Harry Potter series.
Pie and a
Yeah.
snake.
Yeah, that could be great. All right, Janet, back to
I'm
you.
gonna have to write that down.
So like I said, you can read by yourself or with your family, with your dog or your cat or your hamster. And then, it's fun to also read with friends. And I just want to thank everybody for coming this evening and learning about why reading is so important. And I'm sure you already knew why reading was important, but just to hear from some of our members of the community. And I want to thank Amanda and Antoinette and George and Heather for helping me with this presentation. And parents, if you are ever interested in becoming a JA volunteer, I would love to talk to you about that. We're always looking for volunteers to go in and share in the classrooms, and it's a lot of fun. I know Mrs. Guloff, she just finished her JA program, and actually her volunteer lives in California right now. So because we now have some Zoom meetings that she was still able to share. She had been Miss Guloff's volunteer for several years, and she moved this past spring, and so she got to join her again. So thank you so much for coming. I appreciate the opportunity to meet you and see your smiling faces. And that's all I have for tonight. So I hope you have a great night.
Thank you for coming.
Janet, thank you so much. Thanks, Foxes. Couple of more reminders for parents. Just make sure that in the chat you put your email and your name so that we can send you a survey. Also, for my third grade teachers, I will be sending out a link to a Google quick quiz that for students who did not participate, they can watch this video, and there's going to be some questions like what was the favorite book, George's favorite book that he was talking, and he should be easy because it's Curious George. So we'll know if they watched it or not. And then also I'm going to ask my in-person Foxes, Olivia and Jonathan, and let me mute my friend. Let me mute admin, even though I love his voice. But I'm going to ask Olivia and Jonathan to be our ambassadors to make reading cool, because as we are passing these reading logs, don't forget we're going to have special Christmas designed pies. They're going to be coming to my face. So I look forward to that. So thank you all for attending. And I look forward to finding who's going to win tomorrow for this special car here. And also what I'm going to ask you to do, let's see if we can go. There's our gallery view to see everybody. I'm going to ask everyone before we're done to, I'm going to unmute you, and I'm going to ask everyone to say reading is cool so we can get everyone excited. So give me a chance to unmute everyone. And let's see, I'm not as good at this as the teachers are. So I am, okay, I'm going to allow all of you to unmute yourself. And when you're unmuted, we are all going to say 1, 2, 3. And we're going to say reading is cool and say thank you to Janet and Junior Achievement and all of our guests. So are we ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Reading is
Cool.
Hey, Foxes, I can't hear you.
Everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Janet. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.